Hey, what's going on, heroes? Nathan Olson here from YourCharisma.com, helping you create your brand your way. On this channel, we do a lot of social media marketing help as well as Instagram tips. So if you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe. Today, we're going to be going over the perfect Facebook ads campaign for a small business. We're going to be diving into my back end of my Facebook ads campaign to uncover the strategy that I use for incredible ROIs. Stay tuned. Alright guys, welcome back. So I'm going to be showing you my computer for the entirety of this YouTube video. We're just going to be scrolling along, basically going through everything that I've essentially done on the back end of my Facebook ads. And what I really want to show you guys is just the ability that you can spend very little ad dollars right now in order to get a super high ROI with so many people on Facebook, Instagram, all the social media platforms nowadays, and especially because of the coronavirus and leading factors in society currently. There are even more people on these social platforms. There's even more shoppers online just because there's nothing for people to do all day but to sit online. We're supposed to stay quarantined. We're supposed to stay indoors. And because of that, we've seen a huge bump in online activities, especially through augmented reality, as well as through a lot of e-commerce businesses. We've seen a huge uptick. So I'm showing you the back end of my Leatherface motorcycle business, where we essentially have created a patented product. We only sell one product, but it comes in a variety of different colors and styles. So we're able to kind of sell the same product to multiple people because it has different design characteristics, even though it's the same essential fundamental product. But as you can see, in the last 7 days, I've probably spent $28. And I just want to show you guys the ROI that I've been hitting on let's go to my analytics for orders. And we're not going to pay too much attention to Amazon because Amazon is its own entity and I do separate advertising on there. But we can see with $28, I'm making roughly, $1,000 per $28. And I'm not getting in a crazy amount of online store sessions. The traffic that I'm getting is really targeted. It's really hot and people are really interested in my product. And so I'm going to show you guys how to do that targeting as well as the proper content you guys should be leading your traffic to. Because I see a lot of people now utilizing e-commerce and Facebook ad strategies, but they're pushing so hard with outbound marketing that they're becoming more pushy than they are comforting, and their customers are not going, or even their potential leads are not going to want to choose that brand because of the aggressive marketing nature that they've seen thus far. And especially through social platforms. And nowadays with retargeting and remarketing, you can really follow around one person for a lengthy amount of time, hitting them with the same type of ads. And if they didn't like your ad the first time because it was too pushy, seeing it the 1,000th time is really going to make them have great disdain and distaste for your brand. So we're trying to avoid that. And I'm going to show you exactly how I'm able to do this. And as you can see, our search and our direct is really, really up, but most of our traffic comes from social. And those social hits really help boost our Google rankings, but we'll get into more of that later. So let's first dive into the ad that I am currently using in order to get this type of ROI. So let's jump into my ads manager here. All right, guys. So we're in the back end of my Facebook ads right now, and since we are a small business, we don't have a ton of ad spend to allocate to testing a ton of campaigns. So typically we'll stick with 1 or 2 campaigns and try to figure out which is working the best and how we can optimize it the most. So the one that I noticed and the one that has been giving the most traffic as well as the most ROI is going to be my Leatherface Mass Blog Boost. And I'll tell you why. It's because if you've been following along in our blog or other videos, inbound marketing is becoming one of the strongest ways to attract new audiences and to really keep them in your community and keep them in your group. So as we dive into this, I want you guys to kind of look at the targeting that I'm using as well as kind of the verbiage and the content that I'm using. You'll notice that I don't use a lot of outbound marketing tactics. I don't use a lot of coupon pushing or sales-driven types of ads. A lot of my ads are driven to provide value to my audience, as you'll see it when we get to the end of this. So let's go ahead and take a look at my interests. So as we talked about before, I am a motorcycle industry, and because of the quarantine and coronavirus, my international shipping is really delayed, and in some instances, I'm not even able to ship anywhere. So I've actually reduced my targeting currently to the United States and Canada only because I know that I can ship there. In past experiences, I've tried to utilize Facebook advertising in Mexico, but I didn't see any ROI from there, so I have removed it as a location. If you have audiences that are really interested in your products and are willing to spend from Mexico, definitely include it in your location-based targeting. But just from my past experiences, I have not received any, revenue from that, and I've put a lot of money into reaching people in Mexico because there is a vast population in there. But there wasn't a ton of ROI, so I opted it out. And from my age range, specifically people that are 18 or even 20 and under typically don't have a motorcycle, so I changed my age range to about 20 to 60. I know from working physical events and physical motorcycle gatherings that my demographic is really geared towards the 30 to 55-year-old male that typically has around, $60 to $120,000 in income and salary. Motorcycles, as well as other types of automobiles in this category, like boats, classic cars, race cars, they're all luxury items and they're all hobbyist types of vehicles. So people are willing to spend a little bit more in that age range. And they're also a little bit more willing to spend on their hobby vehicle than opposed to just some random product that might not really help provide value to them. So you can see I went with really a male gender specific side because I would even say on average 80% of the audience that I see at these motorcycle events that I've been doing for years are typically geared towards males. And a lot of our customers have always been through males. Now, of course, we are marketing to male gender specifically on Facebook. We have gotten a lot of female interest, but we're a very male-centric brand, and we're pushing more into the female-centered area. But for right now, we're focusing on our one customer persona, which is this 30 to like 60-year-old male who has a disposable income and is really interested in motorcycles. So you can see my targeting is pretty broad. I went with topics as well as very broad instances of individuals that would be interested in certain types of motorcycles that we kind of cater to. Bobbers, choppers, Harley Davidsons are obviously our primary target, considering our product is based for someone that has, a half helmet, not a full helmet. So a full helmet person is someone that's more like sport bikes or, racing bikes. We're strictly more biker-esque, classic Harley Davidson biker style. So my detailed targeting is pretty open-ended. My gender specific and language very open-ended, and my location is based only on where I can ship. If I was not in this situation with quarantine and coronavirus, I would be doing my targeting as worldwide because I want to get my brand across globally. But as you can see, our potential reach of 29 million people, that's a ton of people to start reaching out to. Even if we were only able to capture, 10% of that, that'd be a drastic number, and it would pull in a ton of revenue. Even if we were able to just get them as email leads, we could slowly convert them over time into full lead customers. Oh, one more thing. I want to talk about kind of the Facebook ad strategy where AI is kind of coming into Facebook, and it's really doing a really great job. Campaign bid optimization as well as automatic placements are probably my two favorite things when it comes to Facebook ads. Not only do I not have to worry about increasing or lowering my budget, Facebook will take care of that for me in the campaign budget optimization, but I don't even have to think about the best place to put my ad when it starts running. Facebook's AI is going to take your campaign, and when it starts running, it's going to analyze the data for you and adjust your bids accordingly, as well as adjust your ad placement accordingly. So if you're someone that is really into the data analytics and wants to understand, where's the best place to put my ad, or maybe you're someone that doesn't really know how to do that, Facebook's AI ad system is going to take care of all of that for you. Maybe then you can understand some of the best strategies that Facebook is employing to get the best results from your ad campaign so you can better fine-tune your ads in the future. But honestly, when it comes to AI, Facebook is really progressing in this ads AI movement, and it's going to continue to become an increasingly better tool and increasingly more efficient. So expect to see more AI-esque type of features on the Facebook ads backend. And if I were you, I would really implore you to use them because they make Facebook ads so much easier, so much more efficient, and so much less costly. The whole goal here is to spend as little as possible while attracting as much as possible. And I think with Facebook's AI system that they really, hit the ball out of the park with this one. So let's jump into my ad. So when we talked about inbound marketing in previous videos, what we really are talking about is providing value to your target audience without any sense of reciprocation in mind. And so what exactly does that mean for my business or my brand? Well, I personally am not a huge motorcycle gearhead, meaning that I don't know exactly how to build a motorcycle from scratch. I simply know how to start an engine, how to do a little bit of oil changes, tire pressure, simple things. I'm not the expert when it comes to motorcycle industry, and that really puts a damper on the type of content that I can produce, because video content, if you can produce video content as an expert in your niche or an expert in your industry, absolutely do that. Video content is still the top piece of content for almost any style of content or any format of content. Next is going to be sound. So I would love to do a podcast, but of course, I don't have enough information. I don't have enough expertise in the industry to really speak on enough subjects in the motorcycle industry. So a podcast really won't work for me, or a YouTube channel really won't work for me, because I myself can't produce that content. And we're a small business, so we can't pay actors or individuals to start producing content for us. We are trying to do everything in-house. So what does that mean to me? That means that I have essentially one option. I'm going to start a blog, and I'm going to find topics that interest and are value-driven for my audience. So through a ton of keyword research, you guys should use things like Keyword Planner, or even Keyword Planner is probably my favorite, only because it gives you search volumes for Google, as well as it will show you kind of the competition for specific keywords, which I think is really, really helpful. So you can get a full understanding, and that's run by Google, so you're getting some of the best data out there, considering almost everybody uses Google. But also something that's a little bit more interesting to think about, and maybe to get a little bit better ideas from about future topics, is going to be Google Trends. Now, I use Google Trends sparingly. I do a lot of my research on Keyword Planner, but I get ideas from Google Trends, and I'll tell you why. Because Google Trends really is looking at search volume and potential search subjects. So let's say, for example, I know that when Corona was first taking off, that the like keywords like things to do at home, or fun things to do at home, or home hobbies, all of those types of home activities was trending fairly low. It was, it's still pretty high, because home activities and home ec and all that stuff is still like a pretty trending topic within society. But as soon as Corona came out and everyone was forced to stay inside, the amount of traffic and the amount of search volume that you see for home activities, home hobbies, let's do home activities. The search volume is absolutely nuts, and that's because you're having everybody that has access to the internet is essentially going on, and they're looking for things to do at home, because there's nothing for them to do. And if they can find something to, see, look at that, right as soon as March 15th, it does not get any more clear than that. In America, I think the lockdown in certain areas went into effect around like the end of March, but we can see as Corona started in early March, we see a massive spike in the amount of searches and the amount of interest over time for this specific home activities. And that's just what I want to point out. If you guys see a trend, or if you know some information about society that maybe hasn't just sunk in yet, because Corona was around all the way out in February and way early March, but people just weren't giving it the time and attention it needed. And I know that there were cases all the way back in December in China and Asia, but it had reached its apex in the middle of March. So if you had spent a little bit of time, really hammering out strong content with value and posting it to the web before this big outbreak, you would be having an enormous amount of free traffic just being generated to your website, because people are interested in these topics now because they're faced with certain decisions and faced with certain things that they have to do. So proper positioning yourself for specific topics that are going to come in the future can be a fantastic way for you to excel your brand and to really provide value. So when we're searching for topics, this is typically how I do it. I'll go to Google Trends, I'll look at news from my specific nation, and I'm just trying to understand, or even my specific industry, I'm just trying to find some information that hasn't really hit the audience or hit the society with a full impact, so that way I can start putting out content for that in hopes that when this thing really does blow up, I have already positioned my brand and myself in a situation where I'm going to be benefiting the most from this explosion in interest. I did that, and we did a ton of research for keywords, and what I noticed is that there was really a lacking in keywords for, best leather motorcycle face mask. Kind of a long tail keyword. We're a small business, so it's tough for us to rank for really competitive, so choose small keywords first. So I created a blog. I went and set out to rank my blog for best leather motorcycle face mask pattern. And as you can see, this is my website right here for rank number 2 on best leather motorcycle face mask. We're currently outranked by 11, but I'm going to eventually outrank this because my blog content is absolutely much better than theirs, and I have more options. So if you know anything about blog content, skyscraper method is something that Neil Patel talks about a lot. And essentially what it is you're going to find topics that say, 10 best tips to straighten your hair. And you're going to come in and you're going to write almost exactly the same 10 tips, except you're going to add 5 more tips. And so your content is going to outrank theirs because you're providing more value, more options. And when people are looking at those number-based articles like 10 ways to, change the oil in your car, when someone sees 20 ways to change oil in their car, they know that they have more options, and typically they'll find something better that works for them. So having more options, having a higher number count in your title is always going to help your content rank higher in Google. So we've posted our blog. We've been driving traffic to it, and I'm going to show you exactly kind of what our blog looked like and how we've been able to fashion it into a lead magnet as opposed to just a piece of regular content. So as you can see, I posted this January 23rd around 12 p.m. and I'm just going to go ahead and show you guys what my blog looks like so you guys can get an understanding of how to really utilize this method to the best of your ability. So as you can see, 20, obviously way more than 11. We're going to outrank them anytime soon. And our content is much, much more in depth. We offer much more detail about each mask. But I want you guys to notice something as we scroll through this. So this is a blog post about 20 best leather motorcycle face masks. And so someone that is searching for this information, someone that is searching for this type of content, they're probably already, 1, a motorcycle rider, 2, they're probably a biker if they're looking for a face mask. Because if they were a sports bike rider, they'd be looking for full face helmets or full face shields, but they're looking for leather motorcycle face masks. So they're a bike rider looking for leather motorcycle face masks, and they're probably interested in purchasing one, or they're doing research in order to find what's the best one. So right there, that is my ideal perfect target audience. That's someone that's, they're already interested, they've already in the hobby, and they're looking to purchase something. They just don't know what. So when I drive traffic to this, I'm explaining to people, hey, I've done research for you, don't look any further. I have found the 20 best leather motorcycle face masks for 2020. And what makes a leather motorcycle mask great? And I just explain to them what they're looking for. And as they're reading along with this, they're like, yeah, I'm looking for a mask that offers both protection, breathability, but also comfort. I don't want to, have a mask that's going to be too unbreathable or offer discomfort. I'm looking for something that is perfectly catered to me. And so as I explain all these details of each of a proper face mask or of a proper leather mask that's going to really offer them a ton of value, they're starting to get this idea. And the first one, the best choice, the top rated face mask on my blog is of course going to be my leather face motorcycle mask. In my eyes, it's my favorite mask. In my opinion, it is my favorite choice. So obviously I'm going to rank it number 1. And typically you will notice that when people are looking for, the 20 best leather motorcycle face masks, the 10 best ways to straighten your hair, if you give them a best choice top rated, they won't read the rest of the article. They're just not even going to look at it. Reading takes a lot of time, and as I've talked about before, video content is really one of those things that's hyper excelling because people are just lazy and their attention spans are very low. Reading a 5-minute article takes a lot more effort than watching a 5-minute video because we can zone out and we can do other things while we watch the video. But reading is truly intent, and there's a lot of effort that goes behind it. So when you give someone the best choice right off the top rated face mask, here it is. Here's why it's the best. Lay out all these, a perfect product description on why it's the best, why you have chosen it. The lead's not even going to read the rest of them. They're not even interested in seeing what other options are there because you've already done the work of collecting the 20 best, and now of those 20 best, you've told them the best one. So right then and there, they feel like you have already done legwork for them. You have already done a ton of effort and research for them. So they're going to take your opinion, maybe with a grain of salt, but I think more likely they're going to take it with true passion and true understanding because they're really going to be interested in what you have to offer. And even if they don't see a particular mask right off the top, maybe they're not interested in that best choice. Maybe you just haven't sunk it in yet. As they scroll through the blog post, you'll start to see that, there's a lot of great masks out here, but hold on, what's that? Yes, I do place my mask in there yet again because this is my blog post. I'm trying to push my brand. So I'm going to insert my brand any way I can that looks as natural as possible and that looks as fluid as possible. So scrolling through this, you would have never guessed that, other than seeing that it's from Leatherface, you would have never known that, hey, like this is my brand, this is my business. When they search through this, they might be like, oh, this is a cool mask. I might be more interested in this. And when they click on it, it will take them right to my product page. But for the rest of these, it actually doesn't take them to any product page. It won't take them anywhere. So for outbound links, I typically try to reduce as many outbound links to competitors as possible. Because like I said, we're driving traffic to our blog posts, collect information and maybe even use pixel retargeting, but we really want to just introduce our brand in a positive and value specific way and then keep our audience close to our chest. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to collect emails, we're going to use remarketing, and we're really just going to provide content with value. So as you can see, even though the majority of this blog is all about competitor products. I talk about 19 other competitor masks that are on the market right now that you can buy. But what I really spend the most time doing and what I really, convey best to the reader, this is the type of mask that you're looking for. You're looking for something that is breathable. It's got spare liners so you can swap it out. It's convenient. Oh, and what's that? The best choice that matches those trends or those categories, those types of characteristics is going to be this mask, the one that I found. It's the best choice. Here's why. And people really connect with that. They feel that not only are you being an expert, but you're kind of being a mentor. You're telling them, hey, I know the problems you have. I understand your problems. I know because I face those same problems. Here's something that I found that helps me. Here's something that I think is the best choice. And we're not pushing them to buy it. We're not pushing them to say, hey, choose this right here. We're just saying out of all of the leather face masks and research that we've done, we found this product. We think this one's the best. And it doesn't have to just be leather face masks. This same type of inbound marketing strategy can apply to any type of product niche. Let's say, for example, you've just created a new macaroni pasta pot boiler, okay? And so maybe your thing isn't 20 best pots to boil macaroni in. Maybe it's 30 different macaroni cheese recipes that'll leave your mouth watering. And so someone that's interested in maybe home recipes or cooking might be interested in seeing some of these macaroni recipes, but what they didn't notice and what they start to see reoccurring is that almost every recipe calls for this specific macaroni pot boiler, and that is your product. So, you're giving the audience value that they're looking for, but you're slowly slipping your brand in and introducing your products in an insightful and value-specific way, because inbound marketing is all about building relationships and bridging the gap between information and consumer, while outbound marketing is really all about just plummeting them with sales and discounts and product-based and brand-based value as opposed to customer-based value. So, when we look at my Facebook ads, the whole goal was to drive traffic back to my specific blog post, and my ad copy is super simple. It says, in search of the best face masks on the market for this riding season, discover the top 20 best leather motorcycle face masks in 2020. These masks have been hand-picked. Find out which one has been ranked number 1. Looking for the best leather motorcycle face mask? Check out the top 20. So, super simple, not a lot of text there, because I know on Facebook, although people typically tend to be a little bit more caption reading heavy than opposed to like Instagram or YouTube or TikTok, Facebook, even though it is text heavy, you should still minimize as much text on there as possible. So, I've minimized the amount of text on my thing as much as I could. I try to keep it short, succinct, because we're hooking people that are already interested in motorcycles and the hobby sport, but they're looking for protective gear. They're looking to buy the next product to help their, experience be a little bit better. And that's where we're trying to insert ourselves. That's where this value-driven content is going to work perfectly. And I'm going to take this a step further. So you can see my inbound marketing strategy. Essentially, I find a piece of content that I think will rank well and provide real value to my target audience. Then I simply just create a very minimal Facebook ad and drive targeted traffic to it. The next step is to then create a retargeting campaign where you're going to be utilizing an audience that is made up of the people that have visited your specific blog post. So in my Leatherface product page retarget, I have actually targeted people that are both have visited my product page as well as my blog. So those thousands of people that have visited my blog or have visited my specific product page, we're going to retarget them. And this is going to be the best way to really drive down the cost of your ads, but really increase your conversions, because people that have seen your ad before or have seen your brand before are more likely to convert than a fresh new lead. So what's nice about Shopify is they connect with your Facebook. So I was able to, exclude people that have already purchased from my website, but I have retargeted people from my blog, and I have retargeted people that have visited my product pages. So these are individuals that are really high in possible conversion. And as we've seen, I could add Canada back in here. I might do that later, but United States is honestly the cheapest shipping for me. And if I could hit every single person that's a motorcycle rider in the United States, I would do that before I start branching out to other nations. But for retargeting, you want it as worldwide as possible. You want to reach back to everyone that has ever interacted with your brand. So you could change this to worldwide. And of course, I have no age restrictions. I have no gender, no language descriptions or restrictions, because like I said, we're just reaching out to the people that have revisited or have visited our website. So that's my blog retarget audience. We can check out my ad. This is going to be kind of an outbound-esque style ad copy, but it brings in a ton of ROI. And really, I think it's the slideshow that does the most when creating content, especially out of still them into a simple slideshow. And this slideshow converts at really, really low ad spend, and it reaches a ton of people. I think at one point I was spending about 0.02 of a cent for every 1,000 people that interacted with this brand or interacted with this specific ad creative. Absolutely insane numbers, but that's all achievable just by having really strong upfront target audiences driven to my blog or driven to my website. It's all about that initial targeting that makes that retargeting that much more effective and that much more juicy and higher in conversion. As you can see, it's super simple fade style slideshow, nothing too crazy. It really is all about my product. I showcase a couple of features of my product. I throw in a couple individuals in there, and it's really just all about pushing that product, up to 20% off shop now. And the color scheme and the content style really matches my brand book and my brand style. So make sure that your content definitely aligns with your brand. The last thing you want to do is to produce content that is so off brand, but that really converts a lot of people, that it's going to leave your audience very confused. So as you can see, my primary text, very product driven. I'm trying to reassure the audience that has seen my product before that, hey, this is a perfect buy. And something that you might not know about Leatherface is that, we stand behind every customer tooth and nail. That's letting them know that, hey, even though this is a high priced product, we're going to stand behind you. You need a refund? We got you. You need product replaced? We got you. You don't like the mask, want a full refund? We got you. there's no questions asked when you come to us because we know this is an upfront investment, but we just want people to feel reassured when they're investing in our product or when they're investing in our brand. And that's something that if you have a high-priced item or even like a service-based industry, it's important that you guys reassure your audience of the effectiveness that your product and or service has. And we give a little quick sale, 20% off, but that's it, guys. That's really the inbound marketing strategy that I use, and we can go back and look at my analytics. I've spent $28 in I think the past 7 days, 30 for the whole month, because what's today? The 14th. Yeah, so I probably spent like 40 or 50 bucks this whole month. But I've been able to amass, $1,000 in online total sales because it's all about that fast-paced, reoccurring income, and it's all about getting people into your community. So I'm willing to lose a couple of ad dollars up front as long as I can get them into my community, because I know based off my reviews as well as past experience and talking to my customers that if I get them to try my product, if I get them to go out and use it for a writing season, I know that they will love it and that they will write a good review about it. Throughout our 5 years in business, 2 of them have been online thus far. We have gotten 0 negative reviews and we have sold thousands of masks. So it comes down to a standpoint where, our return or fail rate is so low that we know that as soon as someone tries it, they're 99.9% going to like it. And if they don't, we have services and refund services that leave the customer feeling satisfied even if they didn't like the product. And so that's even bigger of an accomplishment, because if someone doesn't like your brand, product, or business, typically they're going to spread a bad word of mouth about it. But if you give your customers a proper send-off, even if they don't like your business or brand, you can really strengthen the good word of mouth that spreads for your business. And customer service is something that goes a really long way. If you spend more on customer service and spend a lot on appreciating each individual that comes into contact with your brand, I can promise you your brand will explode and you'll see nothing but a higher return on investment as each quarter moves. So guys, that's going to wrap up this video. I hope you thoroughly enjoyed it. If you have any questions, concerns, or comments, or you want to talk about a strong Facebook ad strategy that we can employ for your business, go ahead and drop them in the description down below. I love answering all and any of your guys' questions, but that's going to wrap it up for today, and I hope you thoroughly enjoyed. Make sure to stay tuned to the next one.